In this video, we will study about mycoplasma. What are the characteristic features of mycoplasma? Now, mycoplasma, they belong to kingdom Monera. They were discovered by scientists Knockaert and Roux in 1898. They were French scientists. They discovered mycoplasma from pleural fluids of bovine cattle, so which were suffering from bovine pleuropneumonia. So, from that fluid, they discovered mycoplasma. Later on, in 1966, International Committee of Nomenclature of Bacteria, they classify mycoplasma and they place them under class molecules. Molecules mean which have very soft skin. This also have two other genera, mycoplasma and E. coli plasma. Now, this mycoplasma, they are also called as MLO-like organism, mean mycoplasma-like organisms, or PPLO, mean pleuropneumonia-like organisms. Now, they usually grow as saprophytes because they are heterotrophic in mode of nourishment, cannot make their own food. So, they can be found in the soil or in the sewage water, because sewage water is filled with organic and inorganic substances, so they can easily grow there. And where matter is decaying, they can eat that matter. They can also be grown on the living organisms as parasites. And sometime when they are growing as parasites, they may occur as pathogens, mean they can cause diseases. So because they can be found in plants, animals, and human beings. So when they are pathogenic in nature, they can cause diseases in animals, plants, and human beings. If we see the structure, they are very small in size. We can only see them under the microscope. They are microorganisms which are freely living microorganisms, and they are so small in size that a filter paper which can retain bacteria, through that filter paper mycoplasma can pass. So they can pass through bacteria proof filters. The size is zero point 0.1 to zero point 0.3 mu micron, very small in size. They are made up of single cell, unicellular. They are not motile, they are non-motile, and they don't have cell wall. They are only bounded by plasma membrane. Now, this is the plasma membrane which is bounding the mycoplasma. Cell wall is lacking. They are gram negative. Gram negative. They cannot be stained with the gram stain. They are prokaryotic in nature. So they are bounded by a plasma membrane which is trilaminar in nature. This is the outermost layer which is called as plasma membrane. It has three layers. So this is trilaminar. This is made up of lipids and proteins. So proteinaceous in nature. Now, because it doesn't have cell wall, so this is resistant to penicillin. Penicillin will not affect the mycoplasma. This will not control the growth of the mycoplasma, but it can be controlled or sensitive to other antibiotics like tetracyclines, erythromycin, and chloramphenicol. Now, if we see its structure, we can see that this is its outermost covering. This is called as plasma membrane. Cell wall is not present. This lacks cell wall. Now, inner to cell wall, this part is cytoplasm, right? This part is cytoplasm, which is shown like dotted like this. Then it has genetic material in the form of DNA. Now, this is double-stranded DNA. And this DNA has a replicating disc on one side. This just behave like mesosome of bacteria. Like this will help in replication, and this will also help in separation of one nucleoid into two nucleoid. So this is attached to the replicating disc. Then it also has ribosomes, and ribosomes, they are 70S type. It has its own soluble RNA. Then it has other granules. They may be in the form of protein. They may be enzymatic in nature. Other granules are there. Now it has RNA as well as DNA as genetic material, but its DNA is not circular. It is linear like this, and double-stranded, fibrillar. Now, shape of the, if we see shape of the mycoplasma, like here in the diagram I have shown spherical shape, but it can have different shapes. It can be spherical, it can be filamentous type, it can be granular, it can be cocoid. Cocoid are again group of spherical bodies. So it can change its shape. Because it can change its shape, it has different kind of shapes. So it is called as pleomorphic in nature. So this is highly pleomorphic in nature. So because of this pleomorphic nature, mycoplasma are also called as jokers of plant kingdom. Now, we have discussed that mycoplasma can cause diseases. So, this can be pathogenic in nature. So, this can cause diseases in plants like a bunchy top of papaya. They can even affect citrus fruits. They can cause greening of the citrus fruit. Then, leaf development is hampered or affected in brinjal plant. Then, witch's broom of legumes, big bud of tomato. Then, in animals, they can cause pneumonia in cattle, mycoplasma mycoides, inflammation of genitals by mycoplasma bovigenitalium, then agalexia of sheep and goat. This can be done by Mycobacterium agalactia. So if we see mycoplasma, we have seen that they are very simplest free living microorganisms which can be only seen under the microscope, and they have a DNA and RNA as its genetic material. If we see their structure, it is intermediate between bacteria and viruses. They don't resemble with the bacteria, not even with the viruses. They are prokaryotic in nature. Why they are prokaryotic? They don't have a well-defined nucleus. They don't have membrane-bounded cell organelles like endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi bodies, mitochondria. They don't have that. And then they have 70S ribosomes. So they are prokaryotic in nature. So they resemble bacteria, they resemble viruses, but they are different from them. So we can say they are intermediate between bacteria and viruses. They differ from viruses because they have cellular organization. Viruses don't have cellular organization. Now, mycoplasma, they have their independent metabolic activities. They can reproduce on their own. Usually, mycoplasma also reproduce by the process of binary fission. They are sensitive to antibiotics, tetracycline, erythromycin, chloramphenicol, and we can culture mycoplasma in the lab. Like viruses cannot be done in, we cannot culture them like that. They are inert outside the living organism. They are pathogenic inside the living organism. So viruses, they are different. Now they are different from viruses. They are also different from bacteria. As we have seen, mycoplasma, they are smallest, simplest, free living microorganisms bounded by a plasma membrane, don't have cell wall, they don't have cell organelles, they have 70S ribosomes, then they have DNA and RNA as their genetic material. This is all about characteristics of mycoplasma. Thank you for watching my video. If you like my video, please like, share and subscribe.